Hi, guys, welcome to another episode of What's Blooming or What's Flowering Inside My Indoor Garden for the months of August and September. Oh my gosh, the year is almost over. Can you imagine? It's already September, so feels like it's gone so quickly, but it is what it is, right? People are already selling Christmas things at the stores here in the UK. How is everything where you live? Anyway, let's start introducing you my beauties for this month. I have 12 orchids in bloom at the moment. 12 new orchids that were not in bloom in the last 2 months. I have others in bloom, but I've shown you them many other times, so I'm not gonna keep it here showing the same thing that I showed you last month. And I'm gonna start with my beautiful oncidiums and intergenerics because why not? They are amazing. They do super well in my climate. They do super well for me and they bring me so much joy. And to start, I'm gonna show you the beauty that I have a whole video dedicated only to this one because it deserves to be shown this time. It's my beautiful Oncidium Cherry Baby. It's a very well-known hybrid because it has a fragrance that people think that reminds them of chocolate. For me, it's more towards a sweet vanilla, but people can feel fragrance differently. But I think what's it's amazing about this orchid this time is was the bloom show. I showed you when it had only one flower spike in bloom, but now it has two, and it looks like a curtain, a cascade of red blooms, small flowers blooming all over. The fragrance is pretty strong, so if you have some sensitivity, I would advise you to be far from it. But otherwise, a joy to grow, super resilient, very tough plant. And I had to open this video with this one because it was a surprise and it's pushing out more flower spikes. So it's pushing out two other flower spikes. And I think it will still put a beautiful show. Anyway, let's go to the next one because I talked about this one a lot. The next one is my Miltonia Peter Comp. Some of these names may be wrong, but I will write them properly down below. I've showed this plant in bloom last year, but I think last year it had a nicer display than this year. But nonetheless, it's a hybrid as well, and it has this combo of colors that's like green, yellowish with some sort of red, pink, purple. When you look from far, I would say that brings you that warm feeling. It's like when you are in a sunset of some sorts. And since I start taking good care of this plant, it starts producing larger flowers. So I think better you look after this plant. The display can look nicer and also the flowers will start to look better as well. Fragrance wise, nothing to I don't remember if it's fragrant or not, so which means that if it has some fragrance, it's very subtle. Next one, I will show this one very quickly, is my Odontioda Sturbic, I think. It's a no ID, but I think it's this one. Last year I had an amazing display, full of flowers and a cascade of flowers and blooms. I was in love. This year is just few flower spikes with very short flower spikes, 2, 3 flowers each. And what's great about this plant is the display. It doesn't have any fragrance, but it's capable of putting out many flowers, many red flowers. And they look really, really nice. It's one of my favorite intergeneric. However, this time around, it's not doing what it can. This one could be amazing now, but it's not. I think I need to repot it. But I didn't have time to do this season, so it will have to wait. Next one is my Zygopetalum Rosy Blue. I've shown you this one in the past. It pushed out a flower spike and it was looking so nice that I said, why not? It's been a while since you saw this one last. And I love this plant because it's always blooming for me. It was gifted from I think my brother-in-law gave. It was one of my first orchids. The only disadvantage is that this is a massive plant, but it blooms non-stop and it's not fussy about light. It likes their humidity. More than that, it will keep growing and pushing flower spikes like nothing. The next one, it's my bee orchid. I like to call it my bee orchid because I think the little flowers, they look like some sort of insect. So it's my Celogeny ovalis brown. I've showed you that plant before, I am sure. It's my only Celogeny. It's a sequential bloomer. We keep pushing one flower after another flower. The flowers are very small. It is fragrant, but it's like some sort of grassy fragrance. It's not really good, but you cannot feel it. It's only if you decide to sniff the flowers. It blooms for me more than once a year. It can blooms multiple times, and I think more you look after it, probably will give a better display. The only issue with this plant is that very unruly, so keeps growing out of the pot, and there is nothing that I can do about it, so I'll let it be. The next one, it's a surprise, and you have seen that before if you follow me here. I've showed you my Nelphinetia falcata. It's the first time that I have Nelphinetia blooms, and I bought this one, as I said on that video, as a surprise. I didn't have the tag, and I think it's just the normal Nelphinetia falcata. This plant is so cute. The flowers, they are tiny because the plant is tiny, but they are large compared to the size of the plant. It's so elegant and it has an amazing fragrance. I am extremely sensitive to fragrances. I can have it around and it wouldn't make me feel sick. It's quite good. I don't know how to explain. It's perfumey, floral. It is good. And on top of that, the plant is amazing. So I super recommend one if you find one cheap around you live and affordable price. I know that these orchids can be pricey, and for me, they grow super well. I didn't have issues with my Nelphinetias, the ones that I grow at my home. But yes, I had to show you this one because, oh my gosh, I was very surprised and I'm very happy with this bloom. I think it was the one that I was expecting to see and waiting to see the most from all of the ones that I'm talking to you about. So the next one is one that blooms only once a year. It's a species as well. It's my Aeranges articulata. It's a very large Aeranges. I lost all of the other Aeranges that I tried to grow. They were all miniature. This one, it's a big plant. It's a monopodio like Phalaenopsis and Vandas. And again, the flowers are super elegant like the Nelphinetia ones. They are pure white flowers. And I love the way that it cascades. The problem is I couldn't film it, so I'm just showing you something that I posted on Instagram. So I cannot talk a lot about it because I don't have footage to show you. But I couldn't skip this plant because it's honestly one of my favorites. It only blooms like for 2 weeks a year. That's the downside because they are so beautiful that I want to have them around for longer. Another plant that rebloomed for me before I repotted. I have lots of repotting to do. This one is my Dendrobium Sanuka. I think this one is the polar fire one. And it's a joy to grow as any Sanuk if you have experience with Dendrobium Phalaenopsis. They are so easy. You just need to offer them some bright light. Water when they need water. They are not fussy about humidity. They will keep growing new canes. And they will push out flower spikes that last for a long time. They are beautiful. So the only issue with these plants is that they attract pests like nothing. So most of my Sanuks, and Dendrobium Phalaenopsis, they have been set back because of pest attack. So insects munched on them like nothing. I'm sure it's one of the favorite plants that thrips and other pest insects likes to munch on are the dendrobiums. And the dendrobiums phalaenopsis, oh my gosh, they taste amazing. So that's why I haven't shown you many blooms, but I have others, hopefully in the future. Another one that's a reliable bloomer, such as my Zygopetalum, is my Paphiopedilum Maldier Fema Green or Green Fema. I will write down the correct tag below. This one blooms for me yearly, and every year it will have a mature frond and a flower spike and will push out a beautiful green flower. So it's one of the easiest Paphiopedilums to grow out there. It's super affordable, at least where I live in the region. I've seen garden centers. It doesn't have any fragrance, but if you don't have patience with Paphiopedilum, but would you like to try some with a beautiful foliage, mottled leaves, go with the Maldier Green. It's definitely a very easy plant to look after, and which will give you blooms every year. The only Phalaenopsis that I'm showing you this month, it's one that I also recorded a video because it is a beauty. Oh my gosh, this one is gorgeous. And it's my only almost blue Phalaenopsis. It's a cross, it's the Diarro Blueberry crossed with Violacea Indigo. It has some sort of floral fragrance with a little bit of spicy, but I don't feel them if I'm not very close to the flowers. And to be honest, I don't dislike the fragrance. And I love the display. This plant is so tough, so strong. It's such a good hybrid to have because keep pushing flowers like nothing. It has many flowers at the moment. And I always feel joy when I look to the shelving in my bedroom and I see all of that purple flowers around. And that tone of purple is to die for. I love it. So it's the only Phalaenopsis, but it's a good one. Now, the least but not last, my 2 Cattleyas. Hey, I have 2 Cattleyas this month. And I feel so good about them because I'm finally starting to get Cattleyas a little bit. I should know them by heart because they are from my country. My original country. In Brazil, we have so many different species of Cattleyas, but I think the climate here is not the easiest one until you figure how to balance your mix with light and everything else. But this month I had 2 Cattleyas in bloom. I know that's not a lot, but they produce a beautiful display. And the first one is my pink Cattleya that I've showed you, I think last year. This time it pushed out 4 massive flowers in the same spike. The flowers are huge. I don't know if you can see, but comparing to the palm of my hand, the flowers like the same size. They are really, really big. They should be maybe 15-20 centimeters, I think, across. So they are large flowers, and they are fragrant. They have some, I don't know how to describe this type of fragrance, but they are fragrant flowers. I don't know if they are to my liking, though. I cannot stand them for a long time, but I love the display of this one. Although it's a no ID hybrid, I will never get rid of this one, especially because it's the first Cattleya that did very well for me. Anyway, it's a massive plant. It's growing non-stop, and I'm so happy. And the next one, and the last plant, it's my Cattleya Sagaric Wax African Beauty. This one I bought as a mature plant, got attacked by thrips. It have been through some difficult time, but it's finally recovering and push out a flower spike for the first time. And for me, these flowers, they remind me of a glass of red wine, the color of the flowers. When I filmed, I had some purple light on. So when you look like a little bit like purplish, the petals and sepals, but actually it's some sort of burgundy dark red. and only the lip that has some purple pink color to it. And the fragrance is really, really nice. And I discovered something. It is more fragrant during nighttime than during daytime. I don't know why. Probably it's to do with some of the parents because it's a very complex hybrid. But I am so happy with these flowers. They are not as big as the other one. They are much smaller. But all the petals and sepals, they are waxy. If you touch them, they have these thick. They are not thin petals and sepals. They are thick. And I think that's why the waxy it's on its name. And that's it. That concludes all of my blooms for this month. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which of these flowers are your favorite. I would love to hear from you. And please subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. And I hope to see you back here soon. Bye bye.